It is J. Roos Theory, and we got to talk some knockout chaos. And let me get situated. Anybody that is supporting Anthony Joshua, feel free to leave a comment and let's talk about it. Anybody that's supporting Francis Ngannou, of course, let's talk about it. What y'all think of the Knockout Chaos promo? I thought it was pretty exciting. You get to see the acting skills of Francis Ngannou and Anthony Joshua. Of course, there's some people out there that think I don't like Francis Ngannou just because I think Anthony Joshua was going to win. I've always been a Francis Ngannou guy. I've always liked the guy. In fact, he's probably my second favorite heavyweight between Anthony Joshua and himself. You know, I like Tyson Fury despite all the antics. I like Usyk. I like Daniel Dubois. I don't know how I missed this footage. I just noticed Antonio Tarver was holding the pads for Jarrell Big Baby Miller. Um, I don't know if Coach James Bashir, shout out to him. I don't know if he's still working with James Bashir. I know Coach James is still working with heavyweight Vlad Sarenko, 19 wins, 16 knockouts. Shout out to Vlad. Um, but yeah, I saw Jarrell Big Baby Miller, and he was working on some things, and Antonio Tarver seemed like he was trying to rebuild the confidence of Jarrell Miller by the things he was telling him and things like that, and I think that's very much needed. So yeah, so everybody come on in. I didn't announce that I was gonna go live, but that's what I'm doing. Oh, and the Knockout Chaos will be $40 on the zone, which is pretty cool. And the more I think about it, it kind of seems like this fight reminds me a lot of it reminds me a lot. Hold on, y'all. 1 second. Okay, this fight reminds me a lot of Lennox Lewis versus Michael Grant. Y'all remember that? How that was promoted. Michael Grant was set to be the new big heavyweight in town, but he didn't look good against Andrew Galata. I believe Galata knocked him down, had him looking a bit shaky, but it reminds me a lot of that. Lennox Lewis called Michael Grant a hurry come up, meaning they come up in a hurry and go in a hurry. And that's kind of how this fight is looking to me with Francis Ngannou and Anthony Joshua. People think just because Francis Ngannou knocked down Tyson Fury now that, he's going to just walk through AJ like he's nothing. Anthony Joshua is 6'6", 250 plus. Have you seen anybody walk through him? Even when Andy Ruiz caught him on his worst night, he still had trouble with him. What's up to everybody out there? We got Bobby Ball. What's up to you, man? Newton, what's up to you? Yeah, I think Joshua's gonna win too. Bobby Ball says Wilder. So you like Deontay Wilder? Do you think Wilder should stay with Malik Scott? Um, I think Wilder needs a more quality trainer out there. Um, I I've always said I don't see how. Yeah, I've always said I don't see how you can get a guy to train you that you beat. Especially when when it looked kind of suspect to begin with. But we won't talk about that. I might want to interview Malik Scott at some point if he's not mad at me. He'll probably be like, "Man, I ain't going on your platform." Try to act like I took a dive. What's up, sicko? Is Alex Pereira the best combat sport fighter ever? Um, I don't know too much about him. I'll have to check him out, But he must be pretty good if you're bigging him up there. But yeah, it's this is a good what's going on? This is a good time. What am I doing? Let me get my camera adjusted, y'all. Goodness gracious. This is a good time to be a fan of heavyweight boxing, I watch all the divisions and stuff like that, but nothing is as good as the heavyweight division. But I kind of got sidetracked to what I was saying about this fight reminding me of Lennox Lewis versus Michael Grant, because Michael Grant was supposed to be the heir apparent to Lennox Lewis. He was taller than Lewis, and everybody was acting like he was going to give Lewis some problems, and Lewis just went in there and did his thing, showed he was leagues above Michael Grant, and Michael Grant was never the same after that. I seen him get stopped by a jab after that. What's up to Mike? What's up, man? He says, when is the march between Joshua and Francis? That is March 8th, which is a Friday. Dragon Leg, what's up? How you doing? Salute to all y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Didn't announce that I was going live, but I saw the Knockout Chaos promo, and yeah, thanks for letting him know, Dragon Leg, March 8th. I just see this fight being a lot like Lennox Lewis versus Michael Grant. If you guys are too young to remember that fight, go back and watch the hype leading up to it, and go watch the actual fight. I believe it was done in 3 rounds, and Lewis hit Michael Grant so hard, George Foreman said he broke his leg. Shout out to Andrew Tucker World out there. He said something on one of his videos. I said I gotta borrow that. He said Francis Ngannou is still wearing pull-ups, meaning he's a baby to this game. Tough guy. I don't know if too many fighters that are tougher after what he's been through. But I just think the experience of AJ is just gonna be too much for him. Shout out to Steven. AJ is privileged individual. Whole show is for him. Sure, he is favorite. Francis needs to KO him to win. It's only way. You could be right about that, because I do believe that the Saudis want Anthony Joshua to fight Tyson Fury. So you could be right that it'll be hard for Ngannou to win a decision, but that's not AJ's fault. That's the people that's putting on the fight. But I don't see this fight going the distance. Somebody's getting stopped, and Ngannou can do it. I don't think he will, but if anybody can do it, it's Ngannou. And now I'm even hearing talks of Deontay Wilder and Francis Ngannou mixing it up in the PFL. Have you guys seen Deontay Wilder's legs? Have you seen Ngannou's legs? One kick anywhere placed on Deontay Wilder's leg, and it's a gyro, it's a burrito, it's a wrap. There's no way Deontay Wilder is beating Francis Ngannou in the cage. I seen Ngannou pick up Cyril Gane, who was like 245, and slammed him like he was a featherweight. So what do you think he would do to Deontay Wilder? I don't even see Wilder beating Francis Ngannou in the ring at this point. If he comes in there looking like he did against Parker, where he looked emaciated, didn't look much bigger than Snoop Dogg, I don't see what in the world he could possibly do to Francis Ngannou. Yeah, it's home terrain for the Brits. Yeah, you're right about that. Yeah, they have the Saudis have a great relationship with Eddie Hearn and the Brits, and Frank Warren and all them. A lot of people underestimate AJ. I like Francis Ngannou, but to be honest, he's tough. But 37, maybe coming at 280, maybe 325 fight night suffer stiffer than AJ to me. Yeah, Francis Ngannou was looking kind of stiff at certain points with Tyson Fury. A lot of that could have been nerves because he admitted that he was nervous in the dressing room before that fight. It was his first professional boxing match against a guy that a lot of people considered to be the best heavyweight in the division, Tyson Fury. I thought Tyson Fury was the best in the division at one point, but it seemed like he was ducking Usyk at some point. So I'm like, well, if Tyson Fury doesn't want to fight Usyk, I might have to go back and rethink my position because he must see something I don't see. But oh yeah, if anybody wants to donate to the platform, the Cash App is $J Roos 33. And if you can't, no harm, no foul. But back to the topic. The Knockout Chaos promo looks like it was a big budget put in there. And the Saudis really know how to promote a fight, man. Even if you're not interested in boxing or the heavyweight division, after watching that promo, you should have something should have gone off. You should feel a little something after watching that. You should feel a little something, something because it just looked really high quality. They gave it that early '90s, late '80s video game look. That's what they were going for, and they accomplished it, man. They just really know how to put on an event. So a lot of people would like these fights to come back to America or the UK. Um, I don't I don't really know. It's like Dragon Leg said right here, Saudi might take over boxing. Yeah, man. I think in fact they already have because they've got all these teams to work together, Queensberry and Matchroom. They're making these events happen. And look who's on the co-main event or the undercard, Zhang versus Parker. I mean, how great of a fight is that? I just watched a documentary with subtitles about Zhang, and I like his trainer too. But he has an interesting story, and he had an interesting story how he why he got fatigued against his fight with Jerry Forrest. He was talking about his diet. During that fight, he was just sweating profusely, and his heart rate was up, and nobody knew why. His trainer was even talking about, I don't think I can work with this guy. Like he's not reacting well to these punches or this fight. But he found out after his diet, he changed his diet. He's eating like egg sandwiches with no sauces. Um, so somebody even told me in the comments it was some type of Chinese hot sauce that was causing him a problem. So I couldn't find anything on that. I checked for it, but he might be right. Some of the ingredients in these products are a bit much. They say if you can't pronounce it, you shouldn't eat it. But what can you do? Like soy's bad for you, but it's in just about everything. Bread, aspartame's bad for you. All these false sweeteners, and they put it in everything. But that's another subject. But Zhang versus Parker on the undercard. I'm leaning towards Zhang. I don't try to hedge my bet by saying both guys can win. I've said that sometimes, but I still have a favorite. Parker will, I believe, definitely outwork Zhang. I just don't think he can take Zhang's power. Stephen S says he'll stop Parker, and I can see that happening because Zhang's punching power is very serious. Very serious. Um, Yeah, it's like Dragon Lake said, it's a fire card and it's only $40, man. So the Saudis are putting on great events and not even making us pat our pockets to watch it. But yeah, I think Zhang that southpaw style, the fact that he's quicker than people think he is, I think that might shock Parker because people think you're big 280, they just imagine you're slow And he probably doesn't look as fast, from the outside, but when you're in there, he's probably a lot faster than you think. And I've seen him at the bag, and he didn't look slow. And when I interviewed Coach James Bashir, he's had fighters going there with Zhang, and he asked them about Zhang's punching power, and they're like, "Yeah, he can punch." I mean, if you're 280 and you can't punch, something must be wrong. So if you weigh 280, you should be able to punch. And yeah, it's like Stephen S says, he's super quick for a big guy, super quick. Um, and you see what he did to Joe Joyce. Joe Joyce was doing head movement, trying to do something different, which I didn't expect, but he came out doing head movement, and Zhang just like ignored it. And Joyce has a chin of granite. We all felt that chin might betray him at some point, and it did. Zhang was the one to, bring it out. So, you know, Zhang is tough, man. Zhang's tough for anybody. Joshua beat him in the Olympics, though. Uh, Errol says, I wouldn't be surprised if either Ngannou or Joshua gets put to sleep in their fight, but I can definitely see Ngannou getting stopped. Yeah, man. Definitely. Let me ask you this: do you think Joshua will get knocked down during the fight, or Ngannou? Do you think either man will get up? Yeah, either man can get slept in this fight, and of course, you guys know that I think Joshua was just too talented of a fighter at this point. A lot of people seem to make it like Ngannou's going in there against a guy that is a lot smaller than him, which definitely isn't the case at all. Um, I don't know. A lot of these guys, I think, are going by just the MMA highlights, and that's all you really have to go on at this point. Other than the Fury fight, so that's all they really have to go on. But I don't think they're really looking at it critically. I think they're just saying, looking at the highlight reel. And if you look at anybody's highlight reel, it's gonna make them look super great, And then they see this thing with the punch meter where Francis Ngannou gets a 999 on it, and makes you think of Rocky Four. Drago is a look at the future. Whatever he hits, he destroys. Rocky Four. But yeah, it made you think of that. And Francis Ngannou, I just wish he'd leave the PFL alone. I really do. Errol says, I don't think Ngannou can put Joshua to sleep, but he can knock him down. Yeah, that's kind of how I see it too. Andrew Tucker World in the building, y'all. Go subscribe to my dude, Andrew Tucker World. If you haven't, he's over 10,000 subs at this point. He's just growing at a rapid speed. He says, Zhang's my guy, but I got Parker, big bro. Uh-oh. Andrew Tucker's got Parker. Parker did look great against Deontay. He did Parker did to Wilder what even Fury really didn't do. He made it look easy. Like Deontay didn't even want to throw any shots. So I can see Parker outworking Zhang and winning on points too. If he does win, I believe it'll be on points. Stephen S says Francis can do it. Good team and tactics. There is a way. Yeah. Yeah, there's always a way. And that's why I consider Emmanuel Stewart and trainers like him and Eddie Futch such great trainers, especially Emmanuel, because he knew how to make a strategy around a fighter. He'd come up with great game plans, and he would just best he'd make a game plan tailor made for you. And if it's not working, of course, you adapt. I never understood fighters that just keep sticking with something when they see it doesn't work. If it doesn't work, then you gotta switch it up. There's a lot of NFL teams like that. They'll draw up something on paper or their playbook, and then it's not working on game day, and they just keep doing it. Like, well, it should work. The analytics said, well, the analytics. I never put artificial intelligence over analytics, not at all. you know, the human aspect has to be considered. You can't, people forget about heart. And oh, Andrew Tucker says Zhang will destroy Wilder at this point. Tough fight in a way. Much respect, big bro. Much respect to you. And yeah, Zhang will destroy Deontay Wilder. If if Zhang steps in the ring with Deontay Wilder will go back to making music videos and smoking his ayahuasca, whatever. But yeah, if Deontay's people put him in there with Zilly Zane, they need to be arrested because that should be a crime. There's no way he's even mentally ready for a guy like Zane. Deontay's looking skinnier than ever. He's always had skinny legs, but his legs are looking like extra frail at this point. And Zane's just got to put his weight on him a couple times and then land that big left because he's a southpaw. Yeah, the other problem, he's a southpaw, and Wilder will be pulling out a pillow snoring. There is no way Deontay Wilder is beating Zhang. I don't think Wilder would have beat Zhang even when people considered him at his best. I don't even think he would have beat him then. Zhang is just a underrated guy, and he's not being promoted correctly because of his age. It's age discrimination, and because perhaps where he's from, unfortunately, you know, China's not too popular in the news, if you know what I mean. I won't get into that. But it's really not fair to Zhang. He's a great fighter. He's an Olympian. Um, he got knocked down by Joshua, got back up in the Olympics, and he's a different fighter now anyway. Go check his documentary out where he tells his story. He talked about how bad he was at first and, when he first started boxing, but he was bigger than everybody. And he's turned into a great heavyweight, man. A great heavyweight, you know. And he's talking a lot of stuff, man. He said him and Joshua have some unfinished business. I'm paraphrasing. Um, I believe he said, I think he asked his opponents if he hits harder than Ngannou. I think it was him that said that. But yeah, don't sleep on Zane. He's a problem for any of the heavyweights, and I'm sure Joyce don't want no parts of that. Um, I wouldn't even want to see Daniel Dubois step in there with Zane. Stephen S says, I think Zane can beat them all. Hey, you may be right, man. You definitely may be right about that. Zane is a problem, man. I think he would handle probably Ngannou because of that lefty style. They about the same weight. FC says, I definitely don't see Francis on the canvas. I never predict fights, but definitely Francis will be a tough cookie. We'll see. Whoever controls the distance and pace will be crucial to get the win. Yeah, I agree with that. You got to control distance. And I think what Joshua learned when he was with Derek James was about controlling distance. About that jab that he was hitting. The jab that he was hitting Jermaine Franklin with was really shaking him up. He was trying to play it off, but you could tell it was getting to him the way he was like sticking out his tongue and stuff like that. You could tell that it was bothering him. And if AJ had really tried to capitalize off that, I believe he could have got a stoppage. But I think he was just trying to work on some jabs and get the kinks out, working with Derek James. Now he's with Ben Davison, Thunder's Productions. What's up, man? Thanks for tuning in. Stephen S says Francis's chin is a Francis Chin virgin sport with small gloves. He is special. Yeah, man. Definitely, man. Francis has a chin. There's no doubt about that. He just looks like he has a thick skull, man. It looks like you would need probably an aluminum bat to hurt this guy. But they keep talking about making a movie at some point of Francis Ngannou, and he says he wants Idris Elba to play him. Um, that might be a pretty good choice. You know, I'd watch it. What's up, Mr. Scott? Salute to you. Thanks for watching. Stephen S said, "Yeah, you need a weapon to against Ngannou." You know, um, when you go back, I think his most devastating knockout was either when he was in the UFC when he knocked out Overeem with that uppercut. Man, it looked like he stretched his neck like a giraffe, and then the way he handled Miocic with such ease in the rematch. He totally adapted. The first fight with Miocic, he got dominated and put to the ground, and he was getting clipped on the ground, and he was fatigued. But then all of a sudden, it's like in the rematch, he prevented the takedowns, and it's like once Stipe saw that he couldn't take Ngannou down, it's like, oh man, you mean I'm gonna have to go toe to toe with this guy? And then Ngannou just clipped him, and he fell in a Miocic fell in a weird way, man. And I never thought Miocic really even looked like a heavyweight. He's like 240ish, but he didn't look physically intimidating. So Ngannou just kind of went in there and handled his business, you know. And I don't know, even going to the UFC now, I don't know what's next for Stipe. I believe he was supposed to fight John Jones at some point. Cyrax, hope I'm saying your name right. Respect to you, man. Thank you for saying that. The great theories, I appreciate that. Yeah, thanks for tuning in. Shout out to everybody in the chat for taking time out of your day to check me out. I keep thinking this is Sunday. This is Tuesday. Wow, I be getting thrown off with the days. Cyrax says, I think he will get the same testimony Wileen gave about AJ from Francis too. Yeah, man. Yeah, I can definitely see that happening. Most definitely. FC says, I imagine Francis will take a different approach this time. Very likely he may pick up the pace compared to Fury's fight, given he proved himself to withstand the 10 rounds pretty well. Yeah. Yeah, Francis made it clear in the face off that he definitely didn't want to go 12 rounds. He's like, are you crazy? I'm not going 10 rounds. I believe he could go uh, uh, he didn't want to go 12 rounds. I believe he could go 12 rounds, but he has to believe it, because your mind can start playing tricks on you early in a fight, thinking, man, this is only round two and I'm already tired and we got 10 more of these, man. And like I said in one of my videos, a mistake that Francis Ngannou made in the Fury fight that Fury didn't capitalize on. Ngannou had his mouth open for a while, and if you get clipped on the tip of that chin by a big punching heavyweight while your mouth's open, jaw broken, all kind of problems, man. Go back and watch Tommy Morrison versus Joe Hip. I believe Morrison had a broken hand, broken jaw. I think Joe Hip had a shattered jaw. Them dudes was going at it. So I always say hearts make fights more than styles. Hearts make fights. And this is just gonna be an exciting fight. I don't know what people like Johnny Nelson are talking about. And then Johnny Nelson says things like, AJ has everything to lose if he loses this fight. You still got to take chances. Uh, Mr. Scott says 12 rounds is for championship fight. Surely, I think I think I've seen some fights that are 12 rounds that aren't championship. I'm almost sure of that. Yeah, I'm almost sure of that. But they're making it 10 because, Francis is a new jack to boxing, so they don't want to, put him in deep water in his second fight. He's already, in deep water fighting Anthony Joshua, in only his second fight. You got to know your fundamentals before you graduate to that level. And like Andrew Tucker World, like you said, he's wearing his pull ups. Stephen S says Stipe was a complete fighter at that time. Francis was not there yet. It was a lesson and he learned from it. Yeah, he definitely learned from it. The way Francis went in that rematch and just made it look easy, I was like, and the way Francis handled Cain Velasquez too. I was like, wow, nobody. I mean, Junior Dos Santos in their first fight clipped Kane. I thought that was kind of an early stoppage, but yeah, the way he handled Cain Velasquez, man, that was impressive. And speaking of UFC, oh, Roland React, shout out to you. Says 10 rounds from a belt fight. Okay, thank you, man. Appreciate that. Yeah, appreciate that. Thanks for tuning in, Roland React. And speaking of UFC, I always thought Junior Dos Santos should have been a boxer because when he was in his prime, he was great at stand up. I was like, why is he not boxing? I seen him knock out I can't think of the guy's name with a spin kick, but normally he just knocks guys out. Thunder's production says that Joe Hip and Morrison fight was crazy. I rewatched that fight a few weeks ago. Tough bout. Yeah, man. I might have to rewatch that one live because that you don't see fights like that anymore. That was some heart. That was some heart. Them guys they were going at it, man. And Joe Hip was kind of like he was a tough guy, but not he wasn't. People don't talk about him, but he was nobody to sleep on. And Morrison was a tough, tough guy. One of the best left hooks in heavyweight boxing history. You know, Morrison Ruddock was one of the most action packed fights I've ever seen. Bon Scott says, "Imagine if Ngannou got the win against AJ." Oh, the comment disappeared. What happened? Can you uh, rewrite that? Somehow the comment disappeared on my end. But yeah, if Ngannou beats AJ, man, the world is his oyster, as they say. If Ngannou does that in his second pro fight, man, the endorsements, everything's gonna be coming at him. AJ will want a rematch, I'm sure. And I keep saying, I like Johnny Nelson, but Anthony Joshua's not done. Anthony Joshua is not done if he loses this fight, and Francis Ngannou's not done if he loses this fight. I hate to hear people say if he loses fight, it's over. It's not over. How many games did Tom Brady lose? He lost even in the Super Bowl. Career wasn't over. Let me. Oh, I see your comment now. It says Mr. Scott says, "Imagine if Ngannou got the win against AJ, then went on to fight Fury or Usyk for a belt or two." Wow. Yeah, Usyk for a belt or two. Now that would be a movie worth seeing. Yeah, that would definitely be a movie worth seeing. Yeah, man. Stephen S says Francis is very serious. He wants to win. This is not a money grab for him. Nah, it's not. Francis wants money, but he's not in this for the money. Yeah, he's not one of those dudes that'll take a dive. He's not built like that. There's certain fighters that you question did they take a dive? But he's not one of those. You could tell Francis is a man of character, and so is AJ. Um, Roland React says that's the case if he wins. Uh, Prince already said it. Oh yeah, yeah, no doubt, no doubt at all, man. The Saudis are making it happen, man. They're turning boxing into like the Super Bowl. Steven S says many crossovers are a money grab, but not him. Yeah, yeah, this ain't no Jake Paul versus what's his name that got knocked on his face. This ain't one of those. I think that fight was I don't know. Andrew Tucker says Zhang versus Ruiz Jr. Who went? Ooh, that's a tough one. I'm gonna think about that one for a second, man. Give me a second. I'm gonna come back to you on that, man. Ruiz versus Zhang. Mon Scott says, "Do you have Cruz or Keyshawn Davis if they fight?" Hearn is backing Cruz all the way. Told Keyshawn's team to say the word. Um, at this point, I probably would have to go with Cruz. I probably would go with Cruz at this point. Um, I kind of agree with Eddie Hearn on that one. Thunder's production says he's like Tommy Gunn of Rocky Five. I want my respect. We'll come and get it. Because it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward, how much you can take. That's how winning is done. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'm gonna say, wow, Zhang versus Ruiz. I'm gonna go with Zhang because of the size difference and because Ruiz has been so inactive. I mean, wasn't his last fight against Ortiz, and how was that, a year, 2 years ago? So inactivity, and I think Ruiz isn't as good at a lighter weight. I think Ruiz is actually better when he comes in heavy. Eating them Snickers. When he lost weight and fought Chris Areola, he got knocked down like once or twice, and well, he got knocked down against AJ in that first fight too. But something was going on with AJ that night. He said he had some type of health issue that he'd talk about once he retires. He said he put it in a book, because he didn't want it to look like he was making excuses, Mr. Wilder. So you might want to take a page out of AJ's book and not make excuses. Yeah, I agree with Stephen S. Ruiz's motivation sucks. He's great, but something's missing. Yeah, I don't think he's all in, kind of like Wilder. I think they're kind of straddling the fence when it comes to their boxing careers. It's like they kind of want to fight maybe on Monday. Then when Tuesday gets there, they're like, "Oh man, there's a Matlock marathon on. I'm gonna check out Matlock instead of going to train." You gotta train whether you feel like it or not. It's like brushing your teeth. You don't just brush your teeth when you feel like it. At least I hope you don't, or no one's gonna want to talk to you. Andrew Tucker says Snickers give Ruiz Jr. power. Yeah, man, Snickers needs to endorse Ruiz because that dude was, his combos are crazy. I've heard Holyfield talk about it. Stephen S says he's on 50%. Yeah, man. Yeah, he's only at 50% unless he has that Snickers up in him, man. I forget the fight that Ruiz had before the Anthony Joshua fight, the first one. It was some tall, I think a German guy, and Lennox Lewis was commentating for that fight. And he said, man, I can just hear the blows, like how hard they are from ringside. Like he's got some power. And I believe Ruiz sparring with Evander Holyfield made him retire because Ruiz's power is underrated. And I think Ruiz beat Parker too, by the way, but that was a hometown decision. Mr. Scott says Parker beat Ruiz. Yeah, I agree. Nobody seems to be talking about it in the same way. Yeah, when I saw that fight, I thought Ruiz won too, and I had never seen Ruiz until that fight. But I'm like, who's this guy? He had some skills. I'm like, you wouldn't look at him and think he was so skillful with the movement and stuff like that. Um, yeah, Bon Scott said Parker beats Ruiz. Nobody seems to be talking about him the same as they do about. Uh, oh, it says Parker beat Ruiz. Nobody seems to be talking about him the same as they do about Ruiz. Yeah, that's a good point. Home cooking, yeah, home cooking makes a difference. I remember growing up, wanting McDonald's, and then you reach a certain point, you're like, man, I'd rather some home cooked meal any day over some McDonald's, man. Any day, I'd take a home cook. I could throw down in the kitchen too. I handle my BI. um, yeah, pasta, burgers, all types of dishes. Uh, yeah. Thunder's production says me too. I thought Ruiz won, even if I was cheering for Parker. Excuse me. Oh yeah, yeah. Ruiz, he was putting hands on Parker. He really was. But them hometown. Oh man, give me some water. Them hometown decisions are something special, aren't they? Andrew Tucker World. Oh, he's talking to Bon Scott in the comments. Throat is dry. Not used to running my hamburger hole this much, but I don't know. Maybe you guys can help me out. Who else is on the undercard besides Zhang and Parker? I'm not really sure. I'm hoping it's all. Yeah, I need to get me some water. I got a whole bunch right over there. Um, 1 second, y'all. Gonna get me some H2O. Some liquid refreshment. Yeah, I mean. Um, yeah, I don't know who else is on the undercard here. I don't drink soda. I read a book called Natural Cures they don't want you to talk about. I don't do sodas. No nutritional value whatsoever, and it causes osteoporosis in a lot of women, especially. Water, green tea, juices, no soda. But yeah, I think going back to Andy Ruiz, I think Andy Ruiz needs to reevaluate if this is something he indeed wants to do, because heavyweight boxing is not something you want to play around with. You can really get your brain scrambled by these hard punching big heavyweights. I notice when I watch heavyweights today, they don't throw as many punches as the heavyweights from the 80s and 90s. Like if you go back and watch Larry Holmes and Tim Witherspoon, shout out to Tim Witherspoon, who I interviewed, go check that out. They're throwing so many fast punches, it looks like the film is sped up. Nowadays, guys just throw these thudding, boom, boom, kind of slow shots, but they're heavy, and they can cause some serial damage. And you know, Ruiz just needs to, either get in or get out. But don't boxing is not a sport to play with. I'm not big on cliches, but the one cliche is serious. You play other sports, football, basketball. You don't play boxing. Stephen S says Ruiz is an example of not a hungry fighter. Yeah, he doesn't. He just seems like I'm holding out for the big paydays. Well, Scott said Ruiz is always hungry. That's the problem. Stephen has said, yeah, but not for boxing. Yeah, yeah, we want him hungry in the ring, not in the kitchen or not at the dining room table, unless he's eating the right foods, eggs, avocado, that type of thing. Put some of that in your diet, and a Snickers if it works. Just don't gorge yourself on them. um, I'm trying to read this comment. I can't read the first part. Can't something Cam FV famous Cam calling Ruiz not hungry is delusional. Calling Ruiz not hungry is delusional. Okay, that's an interesting take. So, excuse me, are you being sarcastic, or are you saying that Ruiz really is hungry? Because it seemed like he was just holding out for a bunch of money to fight Deontay Wilder, and it is prize fighting. You want to make as much money as you can in the sport, but you got to stay in the public eye at the same time so they don't lose interest in you. The public is quick to forget you if they're not seeing you. Today's generation has a short attention span, thanks to things like TikTok. They teach you to have a short attention span. So, you know, you got to stay in the public eye if you want to, want them to put down their hard earned money to watch you. And for him to hold out for 20 million, nah. Wow. Mr. Scott said Ruiz hasn't fought since 2022. That's a shame. He's like Keith one time Thurman, and the one time is for one fight every 3 years, I guess. Dragon Leg says Bivol versus Better Biev should be on there. Oh yeah, that would be great if that was on there. Yeah, that would be man. They should have made that happen. Andrew Tucker World says, yeah, I need to get some black seed oil, man. I used to take that all the time. But yeah, I have my supplements. Just got to give me some beet juice and black seed oil. I got aloe vera juice, my moringa. I take honey, garlic, all that. Stephen S says, "Well, Ruiz will rather on party be on party than in the gym." Yeah, I'm hoping he's not one of those types that likes to party. Partying and boxing don't go together. In fact, I just saw a clip someone put on Instagram where they were asking Muhammad Ali about the toughest thing about um, training camp, and he said staying away from the women. He said as pretty as I am, Muhammad Ali made it clear that partying and boxing don't go together. If you want to party, do that once you retire, but partying and then having a big fight don't mix, because then you don't want your whole training camp to be a weight loss training camp. You're not really working on your skills. You're trying to lose weight. I think that's what happened probably um with Errol Spence against Crawford. I think his training camp was a camp of trying to lose weight. Oh yeah, Bon Scott says ginger is good for a dry cough. Yeah, I used to. Man, I'm glad you said that. I used to keep ginger juice. I need to re up that. Yeah, I drink ginger juice. I've been drinking for decades, Bragg's apple cider vinegar. I'm not gonna get into that, but yeah, I'm gonna have to find a new company. You can look into the reason why I had to switch. Yo, what's up to what is that name? 71 Rick Rock. What's up, Rick Rock? It sounds like a rapper, Rick Rock. Rick Rock. Yeah. Yay. But yeah, those are all good things. Ginger, beet juice, apple cider vinegar if it's not Bragg's, um, aloe juice, garlic, moringa, black seed oil. Um, yeah, man. Peanut oil to cook with. Um, sea salt with iodine, a necessary ingredient. If you see any salt without iodine in it, put it back on the shelf. Your thyroid needs that. You know what I mean? And now I've turned into a health professional now. I'm joking. But yeah, it's helped me, and I'm 51 years old. 51. Feel better than ever. The cough is from dry throat, by the way. We use honey. Yeah, I got honey too. We use honey and lemon dissolved in hot water. Yeah, that's real good. Oh, and I take cayenne pepper and cinnamon too. Cinnamon regulates your blood sugar. Cayenne pepper does so many good things, man. I take a lot of that stuff just right out the spice bottle. And like I said, I'm 51 and work out harder than ever. I never miss. And that's why if I ever see the boxing outlet, I call him the boxing toilet. I'm gonna just slap him. It ain't a thing he can do about it. He's in trouble. Bon Scott said cayenne pepper goes on most of my food. Oh yeah, man, that's what's up right there. Yeah, it goes good with a lot of dishes, man. And I heard when you eat like hot sauce or hot things in your food, it helps you to get full quicker. I knew a young lady growing up that grew up in Guadalajara, and they didn't have much money over in Guadalajara, Mexico. So they would drown all their food in hot sauce, and it would help them get full quicker. So yeah, health is wealth, as they say. Another cliche. Stephen S says water is the best. I was thinking you were 40, no more. I appreciate that, man. Yeah, I'll be 52 in June. Ain't that crazy? 52. Don't know any 20-year-olds that could do my workout either. That's what's pretty incredible. High reps, not just, I mean, extremely high reps, super high reps. 35-pound dumbbells, 20-pound dumbbells, 50-pound dumbbells. Uh, who's that? Um, Ball Jam says Anthony Joshua is Frank Bruno 2.0. Wow. Anthony Joshua's Frank Bruno 2.0. I wouldn't say that. Bon Scott says another one you may find strange, but apparently works for a cough is Vicks Vapor Rub on the soles of your feet. Yeah, I used to use Vicks, and then I read some stuff about some chemicals in it that were kind of suspect, so I stayed away from it. I know Vicks is used for a lot of other treatments too, though. There's just so many ingredients in our food and drink that shouldn't be there, man. Like you go to other countries, some of these ingredients aren't even allowed. They're not even allowed in their country. But apparently our FDA allows this stuff. You know what I mean? But Frank Joshua, I've heard people say that before that Joshua's Frank Bruno 2.0, and Frank Bruno used to tire out pretty bad. I don't see Joshua tiring out like that except for the first Usyk fight. And I mean, who wouldn't tire out against Usyk? The dude's constantly moving. Ball Jam says Ngannou's cardio is terrible in MMA when he wrestles, but when he boxes, it's okay. Yeah, it's so because Francis Ngannou is just such a big guy, man. He's like what 280, man. That's a lot of weight. Even at 6'4", that's a lot of weight, man. And whether it's fat or muscle, it can mess with your cardio if you can't control your breathing. That's one of the first things he needs to work on in boxing is to control his breathing, not to breathe too much. If you're gonna have your mouth open, don't telegraph it. Just kind of slightly open your mouth so your opponent doesn't see your jaw wide open. If Joshua fights like he did in Ruiz too, he will win a boring fight. Yeah, I'm hoping that doesn't happen. I actually liked Joshua's performance in Ruiz too. I thought it was a master class that he put on. It wasn't too exciting. It's not the kind of fight you want to go back and rewatch or see it on highlight reels. But I thought he did a good job of piecing up Ruiz, cut him in the first round. But yeah, I don't want to see that against Ruiz. People will be kind of disappointed at that. We want to see two big guys slugging it out. Of course, not like a tough man contest where they just swinging for the fences with no skills. Matt says, "Hello, please do a shout out to is that Luna?" No problem, Matt. Thank you for watching and shout out to Luna. I appreciate everybody that's tuning in. And Luna, you must be a real special person for Matt to ask for a shout out. So, I'm hoping everything is great for you. I'm hoping you have a great day, for real. Is Lennox Lewis the most duck fighter in history? He's definitely one of them. He's definitely one of them. No problem, Matt, man. No problem at all. Um, yeah, tell Luna I said hi, man. Appreciate the love. But yeah, Lennox Lewis is one of the most ducked heavyweights. Holyfield didn't want to fight till he got some public pressure. Mike Tyson paid the man 2 million not to fight. You ever heard of getting paid not to fight? Bon Scott says, "Don't care what anyone says. White was the beginning of AJ's problems. Even though he won, White shook him to his core and made him realize he could be hurt." You might be right about that. It looks like we got a troll in here saying, "Do a shout out to your boyfriend." Nah, bro, but let me get you up out of here real quick. Let me get this estrogen filled dude up out of here. What's going on? Yeah, get you up out of here, homie. Cause I ain't got no time for the keyboard warriors. Cause we both know if you saw me outside, you'd be on crickets. But back to the lesson at hand. Um, Lennox beat Tyson and everyone in the Olympics. Riddick Bowe, yeah, Riddick. In fact, I don't know if you know this, but Eddie Futch said he purposely kept his fighter Riddick Bowe from Lennox Lewis because he knew Riddick couldn't win. I told everybody back then when it wasn't popular that Lennox Lewis would beat Mike Tyson. People thought I was crazy. And then, some people say, well, he fought him way past his prime. It'd have been the same thing. Riddick Bowe ducked Lennox by throwing the belt in the trash. Yeah, that was a duck move. What do I think of the new Street Fighter video game style and Ngannou? Oh man, I thought it was pretty cool, man. It was well put together, man. The Saudis really know how to promote a fight, and I like the old vintage video game look. I thought that was pretty good. Yeah, I thought that was real good. And I think Tyson's a Lennox might be a little older than Mike Tyson by a year. Some Thunder's production said no lie. I think Riddick might have been able to KO him in the pros. Wasn't Lewis around about the same age as Tyson? I think Lewis might have been a year older. Tyson is younger than Lennox by a few weeks. Okay, yeah, that's what it is. I don't think Riddick could ever beat Lennox Lewis because he was very wild. Not so much when he first started in the pros. He was more, he kept his hands closer and he never threw a conventional overhand right. It was always kind of looped. And I know Tim Witherspoon does that a lot, but Riddick's was just extra wild. And I think Anthony Joshua. I think Lennox Lewis would have caught him with that overhand right or uppercut. But Riddick could give a lot of guys problems. I just think Lewis was all wrong for Bowe, just like Galata was all wrong for Bowe. Yeah, Lennox is 58 years old. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, appreciate that. Bowe was crazy. Could box over jab, could brawl, fight from clinch. But do you remember that fight he had with Galata? Galata was piecing that dude up. And I saw that fight live when it happened, and me and my buddy actually rewound it. Galata hit so hard, when he missed a punch, you could hear the air from the punch. I was like, man, this dude could punch. And Riddick was never the same after that. His speech was slurred immediately after that fight. And now, unfortunately, you can hardly understand the guy. I saw him on Rampage Jackson's podcast, and it was a great interview, but his speech is really bad, man. We got to pray for Riddick Bowe. Pray to Yeshua for Riddick Bowe, man. Yeah, Mike Tyson is 57. Yeah, appreciate that. Yeah, they're close in age. Mike Tyson and Lennox Lewis sparred in the Catskills when they were around 16, and Mike roughed him up the first round, or the first time they sparred, and Lewis went back. How to you go live on YouTube Shorts live? I'm not sure about that, but you can look that up. I'm not sure, man. I just started going live recently myself. Normally, when I'm on live, it's over in Andrew Tucker World. We're doing live streams for fights, but yeah, Lewis and Tyson sparred when they were 16 years old, and Mike got the best of him from their first encounter. Then Lewis was like, okay, I'm gonna have to go Ali, and he gave his Ali impersonation the next time they sparred, and I think he was frustrating Mike with the movement. He was like, man, this guy is fierce. Mike Tyson just attacked. They used Mike Tyson's image in Street Fighter 2 back in 1991, but switched his name from M. Bison to avoid getting sued. Yeah, that makes sense. Von Scott says you're 51 now. J. Roos, does that mean you're going to call out Big John Fury? Yeah, man, I would. Man, John Fury, dude, I would. Oh my goodness, man, I would knock his beard off. I like John Fury, but he wasn't that good. And when he was at his best, he wasn't that good. I got total respect for him. He's a fighting man, 100%. 100% he's a fighting man, but I'm a fighting man too. And he's taller than me, but that don't matter. I hit hard, and I'm real fast. Have you seen a movie called? Yeah, I saw that Gladiator movie with Cuba Gooding. Yeah, I didn't really like it all that much. I thought it was okay. I was kind of disappointed. A lot of these fight scenes in movies, to me, other than Rocky, I know people say Rocky's not realistic, but if you look at the choreography in some of the Rocky fights, they look a lot more realistic than some of these other boxing movies, you know. Okay, let me block this weirdo right here. Let me see. It's always a weirdo, man. Let's see. There we go. Got you up out of there. He's talking about the gay porn section. I'm sure he knows a lot about that. Since he's discussing it, I wouldn't know nothing about no gay porn, homie. I don't roll like that, but it looks like you do. You know, you sound like an expert in that division, man. But yeah, I got you up out of here. Sent you to the YouTube population, the block party. Watch your mouth. But back to the show. Um, Bo fought risky, but Prime one was wow, crazy and skilled. Yeah, Riddick Bowe's early career back when oh, what's up, Andrew Tucker? He said they can't beat us, big bro. Not at all, man. Um, yeah, they can't beat us. Yeah, Bo was vicious when he first started, man. And then he started when he built that kitchen in his bedroom. I knew it was a wrap. Like, oh, he's doing that. Kind of like Andy Ruiz, who's the best heavyweight boxer ever. I say Ali was the best because of all the stuff he did outside the ring, like even getting hostages back. But as far as just boxing, I give it to Lennox Lewis. But the overall picture, you got to give it to Ali. His sense of humor, his love for children. Mayweather is one of the best of all time, but I wouldn't say he is the best. But definitely one of the great defenses of all time, and keeps himself in shape. He never let the money make him not want to train. A lot of fighters get money and they lose their appetite to train. Floyd was never that type of guy. Shia LaBeouf said on Frotch's podcast that Raging Bull is the best boxing movie ever made. I saw Raging Bull, but I saw it way back in the '90s. It's black and white, and it was interesting. But I'm just a Rocky and Creed guy, man. I grew up on Rocky, so I just, to me, Rocky is the best boxing movie of all time. Look at Carl Weathers, the dude looked like he really could fight, man, for real. Stephen S says age is just a number. Look, Albert Beckles is still kicking 90 plus years. Wow, 90 plus. Shout out to him, man. Yeah, it's uh it's a trip when I hear people call themselves old and stuff like that. I'm like, you'll never hear me say so. Even if I hear it's so popular for people to call themselves old, that's ridiculous, man. Like, why would you throw in the towel because you reach a certain age? I mean, in America, they write you off like at minute you turn 30, they call you old. So you can't listen to these people. A lot of the stuff in the world is controlled by people that want you to think you're no value when you reach a certain age. But I know differently because I measure my workouts. For one, I know I'm doing more now. I've been working out since I was 8, so I'm doing more now than I did before. So age is just a number, man. Is Ryan Garcia cashing out? I don't think he is, but I don't know, man. That's a good question, Alex. Appreciate you tuning in. That's a good question. Um, if Ngannou beats Joshua in his second boxing fight ever, I'm waiting for it to scroll up so I can read the rest. Let me ask you, Alex. Do you think Ryan Garcia is cashing out though? Um, what'd you think of the shove with him and Haney? But if Ngannou beats Joshua in his second boxing fight ever, will it be the greatest sports achievement ever? Good question. It's certainly up there, man. You got to mention that along with Tyson Douglas. Yeah, it's certainly up there because your second pro fight and you beat a former champion like Joshua. You gotta definitely throw that in there. That's a great question. Alex says prime George Foreman versus tough one. I'm gonna say Lennox Lewis based off George Foreman's own words. George Foreman said many times that he didn't want no parts of Lennox Lewis, and I think George Foreman's prime was in his second career when he came back. He was better at an older age because he didn't even get knocked down when he was older. When he was younger, he got knocked down by Ron Lyle. He got stopped by Ali. So I think the strength of Lennox Lewis, which a lot of people talk about that been in the ring with him, know that he could really punch. Foreman could too, but I just think that Foreman was a little too easy to hit. But if you say George Foreman, I wouldn't argue that point because George could punch. Go back and watch him against Holyfield. Does Stephen A. Smith know his boxing knowledge? Not really. Every time I hear Stephen A. Smith, when the ESPN goes to him like he's a boxing guy, I'm like, man, stick with basketball. Like Stephen A. Smith kind of refers to guys like Teddy Atlas and seems to get his knowledge from that. Stephen A. can be funny. I watch him, I think I'm subscribed to him, but I wouldn't take his boxing knowledge. I would never listen to him and go put my money on something he says. Stephen S says there is no goat, only preferences. Oh, that's a great comment. I'm gonna have to use that, man. No goat, only preferences. Wow. And I always say boat best of all time because goats aren't written too favorably in the scripture. In the scriptures, the sheep and the goat. You don't want to be the goats. um, but yeah, I'm a follower of Yeshua. I read the scriptures, and that's another thing that keeps you youthful, living a clean life. Parker versus Zhang. I got Zhang, man, but I think Parker will outwork him. I just think the size and the southpaw style of Zhang will be a little much for Parker, and he might get a flashback of when he fought Joe Joyce. I know Parker was kind of feeling ill that night, but I think Zhang is tough, and people. There's another guy, 40 years old, knocking people out, and I believe will continue to knock people out. He's a big, big guy. He stays in the gym. He's heavy-handed for real. And when I boxed, mainly the guys that I would box in the gym were southpaw, so it's tricky. It is very tricky. And you sitting there trying to think, keep my left foot on the outside of his right foot. It's a lot. Alex says greater career between Pac-Man and Floyd. Oh, I'm gonna have to say Manny. I think Manny's career is more impressive just because of all the divisions he came up. I mean, he even beat Oscar De La Hoya, dude. Whoever thought them two would fight, you know? In fact, Teddy Roach, I talked about it on, I said Teddy Roach, Freddie Roach. I'm combining Teddy Atlas and Freddie Roach. Freddie Roach talked about the fact that he thought Manny was too small to fight Oscar until he remembered Oscar was sparring with a guy that was way less and he couldn't touch him. So he's like, oh yeah, Pacquiao's ready for him. Um, he will separate people one from another just as a shepherd separates the sheep from the goats. Matthew 25 and 32. Oh, man, I appreciate that. Yeah, great scripture, great verse. And I say, oh, man, that's how it should be pronounced. Look that up. But yeah, you're 100% right. Who have you got for the Taylor Catterall rematch? Oh man, I'm actually embarrassed. I don't even know who that is, bro. The last name sounds familiar, but I don't even know who that is, man. I'm gonna have to. I don't think it's a heavyweight, right? But I'm gonna have to. Yeah, making me look bad. I don't even know who that is. But let me sound like I know. Yeah, man, I like Taylor, man. Yeah, Taylor gonna take that. Um, I pick Pac Man over Floyd any day. Yeah, I pick Pac Man too. Yeah, definitely. Josh Taylor versus Jack. Oh, that's who it is. Okay. Yeah, I don't know much about Jack. I know Josh Taylor well. Um, because I don't know much about Jack, I'm gonna have to go back and study him. because it would be kind of unfair for me to just say Josh Taylor since he's the only guy I'm really familiar with. But yeah, I'm gonna have to go check him out. Cyrac says, "Do you think Fury with his current CV should be rated as one of the best boxers ever, as suggested by the boxing influencers here in the UK?" I don't think Fury necessarily is one of the best boxers ever, especially not yet. He has to at least fight Joshua maybe twice. Not one of the best ever, but definitely one of the best in this era. Great question, by the way. Alex says, I talked to Freddie Roach personally, and it seems like he got something against Mike Tyson. You know, he might. Mike probably mouthed off to him. Mr. Motivate says those hats. Floyd's best defensive boxer ever, but not for my eye. Yeah, it's not the most exciting thing to watch, a defensive fight. Nah, it's great for the fighter, but not so much for the audience. Uh, Indiana Jones needs to call it a day. He's losing his audience. In fact, the next Indiana Jones movie should be called Indiana Jones and the Lost Audience. Two followers of Yeshua are James and John, or Yohanan. They are brothers, sons of Zebediah. Yeah, Zebediah. Yeah, you know your word, man. Good job. J. Roos, there was a big controversy where after they fought, they reckoned Catterall won and should have been undisputed. Oh, so they already fought, huh? Well, I'm definitely gonna have to go back and check that out. I kind of like watching controversial fights. I like to see if the people were right. Two followers of Yeshua, James and John, they are brothers, sons of Zebedee, and they were and they were boxers, nicknamed Sons of Thunder. What is that? They were boxers. Kind of lost me there, man. Um, but Alex is Roy Jones Jr. versus Beterbiev. In later career, definitely Beterbiev would beat Roy Jones. Roy Jones is getting knocked out. Seemed like every time he got in the ring, he stayed a little bit too long. Early career, I'm gonna take Jones. He was just a phenomenal fighter. Have a look, J. Roos. Maybe do a podcast on your thoughts on that fight, please. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out. I appreciate you telling me. Do you think Ali lost to Norton all three times? Waiting for the comment to move up so I can read the rest of it. Oh, do you think Ali lost to Norton all three times? I always had Ali win the second and the third fight. Um, Man, there were some such good fights. I haven't seen them in so long, man. That's a good question. I'm gonna have to go back and watch those. I don't know. Ali got his jaw broken and still finished the fight in one of those. But yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch it to give you a better answer. But definitely some exciting fights back then. Do you think? Oh yeah, I read that one. Prime Roy was amazing. I like him a lot. Yeah, Prime Roy was phenomenal. I think Roy's problem is when he moved up to heavyweight and then went back down. I think that messed up his body composition, and he didn't seem to be the same after that. And Antonio Tarver seemed to intimidate him in the ring when he said, "Got any excuses tonight, Roy?" Roy looked like, "Oh man, I'm in for a fight." And man, when Roy gets knocked out, he is knocked out like Razor Ruddock. When they get stopped, you like, man, are they okay, man? Before the sons of Zebedee met Yeshua, they were pro fighters. James and John, nicknamed Sons of Thunder. Oh, I'm going to have to look into that. I didn't know that. Wow, you gave me something to research. I always say do your research. Mark 3:17, James the son of Zebediah, and John the brother of James. He also gave these the name Bo, and I'm probably not saying that right, which means sons of thunder. So are you saying that Sons of Thunder meant they were boxers? Wow, that's pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. So then boxing is really the oldest sport if it goes back to biblical times, huh? Or scriptural times, I should say. Wow, that's very interesting. How do you see David Tua and Usyk in the same generation? Ooh, wow. Ooh, I think Usyk, if he could take the body punches, Usyk would pull it out. But if he got clipped, David Tua could get any heavyweight out of there from any era. And go check out David Tua's Instagram. The dude's like working out and over in New Zealand, looks like training MMA. I don't think he's gonna fight, but he looks like he could. David Tua, man, stocky, not much where there's like nowhere to hit on the guy because he's so compact. He was like 5'10" at best. Solid, man. Solid. David Tua, and a humble guy too. Alex says, what would Canelo have to do to become a part of greatest of all time discussion? Um, some might already say he is, but I think he's got to fight Benavidez. He has to do that. I want to see him fight Crawford. I say I know people gonna say I don't know what I'm talking about. I say Crawford stops Canelo in 8. I know Canelo ain't been stopped, but I think Crawford is just unusually strong, man. Unusually, he's got heavyweight strength, wrestling too. How about Holyfield, Usyk, and Crew? Ooh, man, that's a tough one. I think Coach James said I think he'd pick Usyk just because he was a more well-rounded fighter, but Holyfield in his prime, that chin was ridiculous, man. I'm gonna say, I'm gonna say Holyfield, man. I'm gonna say Holyfield. Joseph Parker looks black, kind of like Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, but they're Islander. Yeah, Samoans. Yeah, some of the nicest people I ever worked. I said I ever worked. Yeah, that I ever worked with. A lot of Samoans, man. Yo, what up, Teddy? Yeah, I'm live, man. Um, Mike says, "Do I have a job?" Yeah, my job is slapping people like you. And let me get you up out of here because it seems like you trolling. So let me get you up out of here. There you go. So help you out there. Um, let me see. I only have 5 minutes. Holyfield's chin was iron. Oh yeah, no doubt. he said he said he needs a job. Yeah. Yeah, man, for real. Or a life. Yeah. It's funny how people, waste their lives to come on there and talk garbage. And, you could pass them on the street and they'll look at the sidewalk. Holyfield was in the wrong weight class, kind of like Usyk. Yeah. Yeah, I can agree with that. Uh, where do I work? Why are you concerned with where I work? What, you need some money, man? I got you. What you need? You need some frosted flakes or something, homie? Holyfield was not a heavyweight. Yeah, he started out um as a cruiserweight, of course. Crawford is real deal. I think he stops Canelo. Yeah, me too. Canelo's starting to take a lot of punches and he's not letting his hands go. Who was the favorite back then between Holyfield and Lewis? It was Lewis because Lewis had to do all kind of things, and the only reason Holyfield got in the ring with Lewis was from public pressure. Holyfield didn't really duck anybody. I think he just knew Lewis had a hard style. Nothing to do with boxing, like he's handing out careers. Yeah, I'm like, what you asking me if I'm working for? Are you working? You sitting up here typing. Are you getting defensive because you're unemployed? Nah, I probably would pimp you. So let me get you up out of here, Mr. Brad. You probably creating a bunch of pages. So I guess it's Troll City now. There we go. Got him up out of there. What is your salary, man? Kick rocks. Uh, Teddy in the building. Johnny Nelson, Usyk, Holyfield, David Hay, face off. Wow. Wow. I got to think about that one. Wow, wow, wow. Yeah, David Hay. David Hay met his match with what's his name? Can't even think his name from Creed. What's his name? Bon Scott in the building. Let me guess, this is your job. Let me guess you're about to get blocked. Yeah, you people starting to come in here deep. Yeah, Teddy, start removing these people, man. I got you as a moderator. Get these weirdos up out of here. Send them back to the YouTube population. Yeah, Tony Bellew. I don't know how I could forget that. Yeah, he definitely he was just way too much for David Hay. Tyson Fury versus Holyfield. How does it play out? A prime Holyfield would have problems with Fury because of the height. Might Fury Holyfield would definitely knock Fury down. There's no doubt about that. Holyfield would definitely knock him down, but I think Fury's height and length would be too much for Holyfield. What does work have to do with boxing? We talk boxing to get our mind away from work. Yeah, it's just dudes that's sitting around, playing video games all day. They want to come on here and talk crazy. They got nothing better to do. Um, my boy's 40 and unemployed talking about basketball. What? I don't count Baloo because Usyk beat him. Also, Hay was a shot fighter. Oh yeah. Hay was kind of yeah. David Hay was kind of one of them guys that it seems like he could have got more out of his career if he had I don't know. David Hay, I kind of feel like we never saw the best of David Hay. He was almost a cruiserweight, not quite big enough to be a great heavyweight, if you can say that. I don't know, man. I don't know. David Hay's an interesting guy because remember he caused Wilder some problems when they were sparring. Yeah. How long have I been on here? I'm about to probably see what's going on in the world of boxing. Usyk versus Ali. I can see Usyk. Ooh, man. Wow. That's a tough one, man. That is a tough one. Tough, tough, tough. Tough, tough, tough. Hey, Jamal, why are you worried about me, homie? Why are you worried about me? Trust me, I got more money in my bank account than you probably touched in your whole life. Trust me on that. Hergovit ended his career when he when it cut open and I postponed the Fury fight and it went. Yeah. King Slender in the building, y'all. Yeah, I need to make King Slender a moderator. Yeah, I made you a moderator, King Slender. Yeah, so if you see anybody talking goofy, send them to YouTube population, send them to the block party. People on here asking me about my pockets and they never even touched $2,000 probably. Trust me, man, you don't want to pat my pockets, homie. I lived in a house with a waterfall. That's fact. I got pictures, so don't even talk about money. Ali's more skilled fighter than Usyk. Uh, Faster, but Ali did things kind of unconventional. Ignore that J. Roos trolls gonna troll. Yeah, man. Yeah, for real. But yeah, Ali did things kind of unconventional. But Usyk is more textbook, and he's real busy and jittery and faints a lot. He's hard to figure out. I've been watching some of your videos, bro. You know you're not. Hey, I appreciate that, Alex. Appreciate that. Yeah, man. I got a whole couple playlists on there. I got West Coast stories, everything. C Roll, thanks for watching. He said hard to say modern textbook boxing versus old school jabbing and head movement. Ali also was very psychological in his fights. Yeah, that's true. Ali knew how to get in your head. He got in Sonny Liston's head for real. Usyk is in trouble for Ali. He's good. He is good fight though. Ali fought best fighters and the government too. He is definitely a great one. Yeah, can you imagine the pressure back in them times, man? He had to fight the government, racism, all kind of stuff. I bet it was hard to focus. Back then it's just the '60s was and '70s were something vicious. Teddy Bruckshot says, "I don't even know what we're talking about. I'm too busy with the trolls." Yeah, man. Yeah, they coming in. They probably from the boxing toilets platform. He's probably like, "Go rush him. He's live." Bunch of cowards, man. Ali versus Terrell. What's my name? Oh yeah, man. Ali would punch him. What's my name? What's my name? Yeah, man. So many great highlights from back then. Even just seeing the little press conferences back then and Ali dealing with Howard Cosell. That was just that was some interesting stuff. And yeah, it looks like this is a troll season, don't it? Wow. Ali was a marketing genius. Yeah, Ali knew how to market himself. Didn't he have a exhibition against a wrestler? So we're seeing all these crossover fights now with Jake Paul and stuff like that. Ali was one of the first to ever do it. He even said I think he got his showmanship from a wrestler, Gorgeous George or somebody like that. I heard something about that. King Slender, I'm in the middle of training right now. Thanks for the mod spot. I got 20 minutes left over here. I'll be looking out though, doing my Rocky training on my property. I'm gonna come back to the vid. Oh yeah, man, that's what's up. I'm about to actually get off here anyway. I've been on here probably for an hour plus. But thanks to everybody for watching, and I appreciate all everybody that took the time to check out the live stream. And yeah, keep uh keep your hands up, keep swinging. I appreciate the love. Like I said, if you wish to hit up the platform, my cash app is $JRoos33. King Cylinder said, "In you trolls, let them come. It will grow. It will grow your channel. Laugh out loud. Welcome to the new generation. Laugh out loud." Yeah, I appreciate that, y'all, yo. Thanks for watching, though. LSR forever. Oh, let me read this last comment. Usyk would be going to Ali's body a lot like was that Mildenberger, and will get Ali frustrated to get the knockout due to being behind the scorecards. Waiting to read the rest. Waiting for it. And I think Usyk would survive the storm and win a split. Yeah, you never know, man. You never know. Usyk is tough in certain fighters are just good in any generation. Like people like David Tua, Ali, Mike Tyson, good in any generation. Hergovic, nice but not defensive responsible. Hey, Stuart, shout out to you, Stuart. Hey, brother, love your stuff. Shout out to Megan, please. She's watching your stream. Shout out to you, Megan. I really appreciate you. I appreciate Stuart, and hoping you guys have a great day and a great 2024. Hey, you guys take time out to watch me. Hey, that's pretty cool. But I'm gonna head out right now, and I'll probably go live in the next couple days. But like I said, thanks for watching LSR Forever, and be fearless. Yeah.